beautiful Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Is this anyone's first safari ever?
Me!
Oh, fantastic, friends. Well, welcome back to everyone else. I'm excited to show you the reserve this morning. Looks like we are going to head right in, but it's really important that everyone remains seated at all times. This is for your safety. It's a very bumpy road ahead. Lap sitting by small children is okay, but make sure that they are fully seated, facing forward. Please do not hold them up in the air, hand them from lap to lap, or allow them to stand even if I'm completely stopped. Now make sure to have your cameras out and ready, because I won't be able to stop for every animal, and I do want you guys to get some good pictures. We've made our way into the Little Ituri Forest, and we are already seeing a lot of animal activity. There is an okapi here to the right side of us up ahead. That's the reddish-brown animal with striped front and back legs in between the two bushes. We've also got a bongo that looks like it wants to cross right in front of us here. There are plenty more bongos on the left side as well. And of course, the animals do have the right-of-way here on the reserve. Now, the bongos are generally very shy and reclusive, so much so that they are known as the ghosts of the forest. So we're pretty lucky to spot these bongos so well. All of them that you see have horns. Males and females of this species have large backward sloped horns, which will help them to navigate through the thick brush where they live here in the forest. We are going to spot another antelope species coming up on top of the hill. You'll see it on your right side. These are called greater kudu. As I come around the corner, you'll spot these large tan antelope with white stripes on their side, two of them on top of the hill, and then one of them pretty close to us in the bamboo here to the right side of us. Really great look at the greater kudu. They'll get to be about 55 inches tall from the shoulder, and they do have those large ears that they can move independently of each other.
Hi.
Hello, friend.
Black rhino activity. Look over to the left of us, friends. Up on that hillside there is a black rhino moving around. Pretty great look at that animal. Now, they're very exciting to see because unfortunately their numbers are dwindling in the wild. That's because they are being poached for their horns. People think that rhino horns have medicinal purposes, but they're actually made out of keratin. That's the same substance our fingernails and hair is made out of. So really, those rhino horns have absolutely no use to anyone, except for to the rhino they belong to in the first place. Black rhinos will weigh about 3,000 pounds, which sounds quite large, but that actually makes them one of the smaller rhino species. White rhinos are much larger, and we might also see those along the way. Now go ahead and take a look at the animal spotting guide that's located right above your heads. That'll give you an idea as to all of the animals that we could possibly see out on the reserve. We don't always see all of them. That's because of their natural migrations and also the time of day. But we've already had some fantastic luck in the forest. This cooler weather is really good to spot some active animals. Hopefully that will continue to be the case.
Hippo.
This is the Safi River. So we've come to a large body of water. We're going to want to keep an eye out on land and in water for animals that live here.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see hippos here to the left of us behind the island. These are Nile hippopotamus. Quite a few of them here lined up. That makes a bloat of hippos. And they can hold their breath for 8 minutes at a time. Also to the left of us on the island, the large white birds we're seeing here are called pink-backed pelicans. They get their names because the skin on their backs will take on a dusty pink color during their mating season. That's a pod of pelicans. They look pretty compact, huddled there on the island, but they do have a surprisingly large wingspan of up to 9 feet across. For reference, that's the same as the width of the canopy that you're sitting under right now.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's hippos up on land to the left of us here, 2 of them. Pretty rare sight to see. They will spend the majority of their day in the water.
Yeah, you
Now coming up to our left side, Nile crocodiles. Plenty of them out on land to spot. Nile crocodiles will weigh 500 pounds and get to be 16 feet long. Now we might not have spotted it yet because of the cooler weather this morning, but sometimes we'll see crocodiles in the sun with their jaws hanging wide open. And that looks quite scary because of all the teeth, but that's actually just how they cool themselves off. Crocodiles don't have sweat glands like you and I do, so they need to open their mouths to help lower their body temperature. stature. When it comes to a group of them, you can call them either a basque of crocodiles or a float. Coming up here, we are seeing a large leafless tree right in front of us. You'll spot it really well out your right window. The baobab tree will remain leafless for 9 months out of the year, so most of the time it looks like somebody accidentally planted it with its roots in the air, completely upside down. That's why it does have the nickname, the upside down tree. And that tree does mean we're headed out onto the savannah, which is home to many of your favorite animals such as giraffes, elephants, different species of antelope, and even lions we might encounter along the way. And look at all of the animal species that we're spotting right from this overlook. We are seeing giraffe as well as wildebeest and Ankole cattle. Now the giraffes are pretty easy to spot from such a distance because they're so tall. They'll get to be 18 to 20 feet tall as adults, and when they're born, they are 6 feet tall. So keep an eye out for baby giraffes here. Oh, it looks like we are going to see one kind of right off the bat. When we get to the bottom of the hill here, a baby giraffe with the adult straight to the right of us. Now these white-bearded wildebeest, the term wildebeest does literally translate from Afrikaans to wild beast. You can kind of see why. They are super unique looking creatures. Also spotting Ankole cattle, which have these impressive horns. They look quite heavy, but they're actually mostly hollow inside. They do have a honeycomb-like structure, so they're not all that heavy. They only weigh about 5 pounds. Really good look at the giraffes coming towards us here. They're kind of parading across the field to the right of us. If you notice the way they walk, they do move the legs on the right side of their body and then the legs on the left side of their body, which gives them their very graceful forward motion. Does anybody happen to know what a group of giraffes is called? It's called a tower of giraffes. That's what we've seen here today. I think that's a pretty appropriate animal group name. Oh, look what we're seeing in the den. An animal just laid down there in the hay. There is an African wild dog. It's orange and black and white, and there are a few more of them behind the den laying down in the grass. They are the most successful hunters out on the savannah. They'll work as a pack to chase their prey to its point of exhaustion. They are also referred to as painted dogs, and they definitely resemble the dogs we have at home, but they actually only have 4 toes, while domestic dogs will have 5. Oh, we're gonna see sable antelope so well. These beautiful dark brown antelope, don't usually get to spot them this well. They have these backwards curved horns that they'll use to fend off predators that might like to attack them from behind, such as a lion. Sable antelope are the emblem of our reserve, in part because of that bravery. If you took a picture of the sign that says you are now entering the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, it did have a drawing of a sable antelope on it. Now it looks like we are in store to get a really good look at all of these giraffes again here. Try and catch a glimpse of a giraffe tongue. These animals will eat for up to 20 hours out of their day. So their tongue is actually blue, because if it was pink like ours, it would get sunburned being exposed to the elements all throughout the day. And certainly I don't know anybody that would enjoy a sunburnt tongue, so it's a good thing theirs are blue. The wildebeest we're spotting here are also referred to as new. That's spelled G-N-U. That's for the low grunting sound that they will make. And we are seeing a very different type of antelope coming up here to the left side of us. We are seeing 5 together, 2 females, a much larger male, and a baby Patterson's eland that are all going to be on the left side of us. A super exciting thing to see on the reserve. The smaller one is the baby, the one that's coming down the hillside right now. The largest one, that's the darkest tan color, is a male Patterson's eland. They'll get to be 6 foot tall from the shoulder and weigh in at 2,000 pounds. But these elands are surprisingly agile. Try saying that 5 times fast. They can jump 6 to 8 feet in the air from a standing position, which is pretty impressive for an animal that weighs a literal ton. There's a much smaller antelope here, kind of by itself. We'll probably spot some more of them. There's a springbok over to the right of us there. You can just see its white backside. There's usually more where there is one springbok. Yeah, there's quite a few of them more in the bushes straight to the right of us.
Oh my god.
They are very small, but they're fully grown that way at 3 feet tall. They can jump twice their height into the air at 6 feet up and 13 feet forward, which does inspire their name, springboks. Up ahead looks like a much larger animal has made its way through here, because I don't know any small animal that could crack a tree right in half like this one coming up to the right. So maybe that means there's been some elephant activity in these parts, and if there has been, fingers crossed we get to spot one. Looks like we're going to be twice as lucky. There's actually two, so one way out in the open and then one hiding in the bushes here. What a great look at these African elephants.
Excellent.
So also as I move forward, take a look over to the left and see if you can spot a monkey sitting on top of the rocks here. This is a mandrill. Any monkey movement you see over that way is a troop of mandrills, which is the largest species of monkey. And they can actually smile at one another when they bare their teeth. It's often an affection rather than aggression. Female African elephants will get to be 9 feet tall. They'll weigh in at 9,000 pounds. Males are considerably larger, 13 feet tall and 13,000 pounds.
Wow.
You might not expect it because of their size, but elephants are actually scared of bees. The Disney Conservation Team did put this information to good use. They helped out farmers in Africa that were having a tough time with elephants accidentally stomping on their crops. So they put up beehive fences around the farmland, and this helped out twofold because then the elephants didn't want to go anywhere near the crops, and the farmers could make some extra cash selling the honey that the bees naturally produce. So this was a win-win. That's called the Elephants and Bees Project, if you'd like to learn more about this initiative.
Bees.
Gotta talk to the bees.
Oh, it looks like we are going to see some more elephant activity up ahead. We did just make our way through walls of red clay, and that's actually a good place to search for elephants because they'll eat red clay. It'll provide them with extra vitamins and minerals to supplement their diet. Looks like we are in store to spot an elephant really well around this corner. Now, if you notice, this elephant definitely has dirt and mud on its back. They'll actually throw that there on purpose because they do have very sensitive skin. So this will help to keep them safe from the sun, just like how we put on sunscreen before we go to the beach. You'll also notice that the elephants aren't really moving their ears too much right now, and that's because it's pretty chilly out. Usually if you spot the elephants flapping their ears, that will be to cool themselves down, and they can actually bring their body temperature down by 15 degrees just by flapping their ears. Another elephant coming out of the bushes in front of us.
Oh, she's walking.
It's definitely on the move somewhere. It does already have its sunscreen on as well. Now we are headed out of elephant country and we have spotted Flamingo Island. This is home to the greater flamingos. They are the tallest and lightest pink of all flamingo species, but they're not always pink. When they're hatched, they're a light gray color. They get their pink shade from the brine shrimp and krill that they eat. Flamingos are very social animals, so it's common that we find them in a large group like this one, and that is called a flamboyance of flamingos. Now we're headed deeper into the savannah. Let's see what else we can discover together. nobody seems to be going for a dip yet. Nevertheless, we are going to be keeping our eyes peeled for rhino activity in these parts. Rhinos like to hang out around mud wallows like this one, but instead we spotted a water buck coming up on our right side. See if you can spot it right by the edge of the bush over to our right side. It's a shaggy brown antelope species. Pretty cool animal to spot, if only briefly, because they do blend in really well, so they're not always so easy to see. Cheetahs here to the left, friends. There's at least one or two cheetahs up and walking around over to our left side. One at the end of the fallen log straight to our left. Cheetahs can run 60 miles an hour in just about 3 seconds, but they do only hold that speed for a few hundred yards. They run in short spurts. There's one further back and also one that's going to be closer to us here on the left side. Now the cheetahs do hunt during the day. That sets them apart from many other large predators that will hunt at night. Speaking of other large predators, look to the end of the rocks here, a lion. Now we can tell this is a male that we're going to spot first because of its mane. That mane in and of itself will weigh up to 40 pounds.
Wow.
Should be able to see this lion really well right by the scraggly bush on the end of the copy. Now we'll be keeping an eye out for females as well. A group of lions is called a pride. I'm sure you all knew that one. The females in the pride will do most of the hunting while the males will stay home and take care of the cubs. We know that lions are loud, but did you know you can actually hear a lion roar from up to 5 miles away? So definitely keep an ear out for that either pretty early this morning or later in the day around dusk. They like to make noise then. We have got a lot of animal activity over to the right side as well. Ostriches and white rhinos all over to our right side, but we should be able to spot those animals again around the corner. We have found lioness here. There's 2 of them laying down. These animals are all doing what they do best, which is to conserve energy by sleeping or resting for up to 20 hours out of the day. They do have those large padded paws, which will help with traction while running, and also help them to sneak up silently on their prey. What a great look at the lions here this morning. Oh, and the good luck continues. Warthogs that are going to be on our left side coming around this corner. There's 3 of them coming up on our left side. Really fun animals to look at. They can actually run as fast as a rhino can charge. That's 35 miles an hour. And a group of them is called a sounder. Pumbaa is the name of the warthog in The Lion King, but you want to be careful who you call Pumbaa. It doesn't mean warthog in Swahili. It actually means foolish one.
Oh, shade.
Now from this angle you are going to be able to see the ostriches again over to the right of us. And the white rhinos here to the right side as well. As I continue forward, they're going to be a little bit hard to spot behind the bushes, so hopefully you can see them up ahead of us to the right side. And we're also seeing large yellow eggs on the ground to the right of us, and don't be fooled, those are not rhino eggs. They are in fact ostrich eggs. They might have belonged to those female ostriches that we spotted. We could tell they were females because of their gray feathers. Males will have black feathers. The eggs will weigh 3 pounds. That's about equivalent to 2 dozen chicken eggs. And they are sturdy enough for a full-grown man to stand on them without the egg cracking. Headed into Magadi Glen, there is an animal on top of the hill in front of us that you'll spot out your left window as we come around this hill. This is called a scimitar horned oryx. It's a desert-dwelling animal that will go for much of its life without drinking water. So it gets the hydration that it needs from the vegetation that it eats. It does also get its name because of those huge curved horns. They resemble a Middle Eastern sword called a scimitar. What a beautiful animal to spot here as our grand finale. We are now headed off of the reserve, but I think we got to see some truly awesome animals along the way. We saw black and white rhinos, a tower of giraffes, and even a pride of lions. Unfortunately, many of the animals that we did see out on the reserve are endangered in the wild, but you can do your part to help them out by donating to the Disney Conservation Fund. But you can do this at any merchandise location here in Harambe and across all of Animal Kingdom. Disney will match your donation, and you get a really cool button to take home with you that'll tell the world you're a conservation hero. If you don't feel like donating at this time, Hakuna Matata, no worries. You can always help out at home by just remembering to recycle, or maybe try to lessen your use of plastic straws like we have here in Animal Kingdom. If I do have any wilderness explorers on board, the name of the truck is the Simba 1. You've been aboard the one and only Simba 1.